We welcome you here to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina on a brilliant day in the Palmetto State. Two teams sitting at 1 and 2 in the USL Championship table face off in a rematch of the 2024 Eastern Conference quarterfinals. It's Charleston Battery playing host to Tampa Bay Rowdies. Alongside Chris Nurse and our crew, Michael Watring with you, as Cal Jennings is the team leader in goals for the year. Our player to watch presented by Fleet Feet. 3 goals so far this season. He was great with Tampa the last 2 years, and Izzy Sullivan caught up with him about facing his former club.
One of the biggest storylines of the match, Cal Jennings is facing his former club for the first time as a member of the Charleston Battery. I caught up with Cal ahead of the big match, and while he admits it's a special moment, he's trying not to get too emotional ahead of the big matchup. He said he still has lots of friends on the Rowdies, but is trying not to think about that, trying to take it day by day, and is focused on helping the Battery secure the win. The former Rowdy is already Charleston's top goal scorer with 3 goals in his first month, and you know he'll be looking to add to that total tonight against his old squad.
In the last 2 seasons, Jennings has scored 35 goals. Only Nick Marcanic has scored more in that time, Chris. He is a key piece and certainly motivated tonight against his former side.
Yeah, currently sitting on 68 USL Championship goals. It's going to be interesting to see how he manages the emotions of the occasion. Obviously, coming up against his own team, there's always something different. I'll be interested to see if he celebrates, if he gets himself on the score sheet tonight, but of course he's going to want to get 3 points.
It's a Tampa Bay side this season that is out shooting opponents by a massive number, 26 in total, but they've only scored twice.
And we just spoke about the man that they may be missing is on the opponent's team tonight. They've not really got off to a great start. A 2-1 win against a very lowly Miami FC. I'm interested to see how Tampa Bay season continues to progress.
It's 2 teams that have title aspirations squaring off here today. 25th time, Tampa Bay Rowdies and Charleston square off. Which side will catapult up the table? Starting 11s and the opening kick come your way next in a moment.
Hola.
¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
Dance like nobody's watching. Except when people are watching, like your roommate and the new boyfriend you forgot she was bringing over. Believe in yourself. But know your limits, because right before an interview really isn't the time to try being a hairstylist. Anything is possible. So yes, winning is possible. But so is not winning, which means sometimes the best way to play actually is to save some possibility for another day. The South Carolina Education Lottery, supporting better players and a better you.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
Back post, Torres scores! Ball comes out, Rodriguez! Box, but empty, Meyer scores! We welcome you back to Mount Pleasant, South Carolina. Tonight's walkout sponsored by The Ideal Life, the title sponsor of Charleston Battery. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse back with you as we get ready for kick. Take a look at the starting 11s for these 2 group, brought to you by Michelob Ultra. And here's the starting 11 for Charleston Battery. Very similar to what we've seen so far this season out of this side.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see how Charleston is able to find Jennings. Good service to get himself on the score sheet. Their formation could be 4-2-3-1 in this game, which they played in a number of occasions leading up to tonight's fixture. Tampa Bay Rowdies, we expect to say in a 3-5-2, and the 2 formations kind of cancel each out. A lot of 1v1 battles across the field.
Conversely, on the other side, for Tampa Bay, they make no changes from their last match, and this is how they'll line up.
Yeah, I think the continuity of making no changes you're at the phase of the season where players need to get chemistry, they need to get cohesion, they need to get understanding of playing together, and having no changes just allows the players to build it. As we mentioned, neither of these two teams have got off to a great start, both sitting 7th and 8th in the table existing. You always want to get off to a great start, build momentum, get confidence, get ahead of everybody else, but now they've got to try and pick up 3 points tonight.
Robbie Nielsen, the leader of this Tampa Bay side in his second season. First time since the club joined the USL back in 2017 that they lost their first 2 games of the year, looking to avoid 3 defeats in the first 4 of the campaign for Tampa Bay. Here tonight as you take a look at the Battery wearing the black and yellow kits for this evening's matchup. And Cal Jennings, after a couple seasons with the Tampa Bay Rowdies, will have his first crack at his former side as you see Tampa Bay in the green kits this evening to watch this matchup. And Ben Pierman guiding this group his 3rd season, and he mentioned that there's a new standard that he has developed within this group. He took over the worst team in the league, and now he has brought them to back-to-back championship matches in the Eastern Conference and an opportunity to try to get back there this year, but they're digging themselves a hole at 1 and 2 to start the year.
Yeah, as you mentioned, he set a new standard, and 7th and 8th is not where they expect to see themselves at any phase throughout the course of the season. If they were to win tonight, either of these two teams, they have the potential to jump up to 6th. But even 6th is not where they want to be, so it's going to be important that they're able to put a string of performances together, and I believe Charleston have 3 home games throughout the month of April, which is going to give them a fantastic opportunity to use that home advantage.
Yep, first of 3 in a row at home, including the U.S. Open Cup on April 15th against South Georgia Tormenta. And these two groups squaring off for the 25th time. There's Joshua Encarnacion, our center referee for this matchup tonight, to watch these two groups take flight. And Ben Pierman said that he feels like this is going to be a fun match to watch for the casual observer. Should be back and forth, should be 2 teams very much willing to go for it and try to get the full complement of points tonight as they push up the Eastern Conference table. It's a pretty pleasant night for action here in the Palmetto State. Temperature sitting at about 79 degrees with a nice breeze as well for this kickoff.
I think it's important to also elaborate on why I said that neither of these teams have got off to a great start, given that we're so early in the season. A telltale sign, Charleston lost to North Carolina for the first time since 2009. On the other hand, albeit Carolina played in the NASL, there's some fluctuation between leagues, they went down to League One, but due to the logistics of how close these two teams are in the rivalry, they played a number of occasions throughout the last 14 years. So it's not a good telltale sign that they lost to one of their local rivals since 2009. On the other hand, Tampa Bay Rowdies, they got their first 3 points with a win over Miami FC 2-1. Could have been tied if Miami FC scored the penalty. It could have been 2-2. And right now, Miami FC are not necessarily a team performing to the standard of the USL Championship. They currently have 0 points. Their goal differential is -6. They've conceded 8 goals and scored just 2. So a team that's challenging you for a championship, you'd expect them to wipe the face off of Miami FC. So despite very early in the season, there's telltale signs that neither of these two teams are currently in a very good place in terms of where they want to be so early in the year.
So an important matchup tonight here as we begin the month of April, as Tampa Bay and Charleston collide. And last season, Charleston was nearly unbeatable on this field. Only lost twice as this ball's given away up top, and a first chance strike flies right into the paws of Campisi.
Just doesn't quite get the connection on the ball that he would have liked. Klein with a strike from about 22 yards just outside the 18-yard box. Safely into Campisi's hands.
It's a crowd here at Patriots Point to watch this matchup tonight. They call this the No Quarter Derby. Supporters of the winning side will get a chest of beers from the supporters from the losing side, as the supporters having that No Quarter Derby.
Palacios just catching Dos Santos there. A little hang time.
left sideline it goes. So Santos moves it back. Malloy, who had the game winner in last year's postseason matchup. Tight ball movement. This ball chucked outside of the 18. It's picked up. A chance to cross. An early throw. These are two sides that very much will run up and down the field. Tampa Bay 45 shots through its first 3 matches of the year. This ball whittled through. It's brought down nicely. The shot attempt, however, leaves something to be desired as it skies high from Cal Jennings.
Charleston just doing a really good job of occupying the pockets. The players are in smart spaces. You can see Klein centrally, Jennings on the right-hand side, and Torres on the left, just fully occupying this back line and finding time and space and the gaps in between them.
Let's take a look at tonight's keys to the game, brought to you by Cruise Subaru. And what are your keys for these two sides?
Being more efficient in transition. One of the things that has been noticeable against Charleston is that teams are dropping deep against them. So it's important that they're able to take transition moments seriously and able to capitalize, given that with the deep depth, it's very difficult to break and penetrate because there's no space behind. So they're going to have to adapt their style of play, and I think it's a credit to the respect that teams giving them that actually dropping and playing a deep line. On the other hand, for Tampa Bay Rowdies, Passius is a really interesting player, and obviously I think that he's going to be responsible for managing a lot of the attack this season, and he likes to play on the last line. He's always trying to make runs in behind. He tries to pin the defense back. It's just going to be a case of finding him with good service behind that back line, but I like the way that he's always threatening with runs in behind.
So your keys to the game brought to you by Cruise Subaru. There's another opportunity, pushing in transition. Over the top it goes, and it just escapes. A sliding effort as Nick Moon interjected. Team of the week selection this most recent week.
I think when we spoke to the head coaches, their key to their game is always, at this stage of the season anyway, is very simple. They're just focusing on improving week to week, which is good right now. When promotion relegation kicks in, I think that mentality shifts a little bit. But right now, knowing it's so early in the season, the objective to make the playoffs and push as the season goes on and maybe not peak too early, peak at the right moment throughout the course of the year. I think that changes kind of the focus. There's no panic in the early phases of the year. But come 2027-28, I think the results right now, or the positions that these teams are in right now, there may be a little bit more urgency to pick up wins and pick up 3 points rather than just focus solely on improvement from week to week.
It looks like we might have an injury here. Less than 5 minutes to play, or into this game rather. As we look at the injury report tonight, brought to you by MUSC Health of South Carolina. And it's Nick Moon that picks up this early knock.
He reminds me of myself this week. I decided to try and run with the team that I coach. No, he did a warm-up. Silly me, I didn't do a warm-up. Went jogging after about 50 meters. I pulled up with exactly the same thing. Hamstring, and I'm trying to stretch it, trying to shake it off. No good.
Tampa Bay, of course, still dealing with the injury with Leo Fernandez. Has yet to play so far this season. And yet another key piece, the Waukesha, Wisconsin native Nick Moon, have to come out of this game 6 minutes into it.
And the frustrating part is, like, you're not feeling enough pain to want to come out, but when it's your hamstring, you just can't sprint at speed anymore. You can kind of jog at a very low intensity, but as you know, that's not going to be sufficient, especially so early in the game, maybe at any phase in the game. So unfortunately, he's probably going to have to rest, rehab, and it's probably going to be a couple of weeks before we see him back out on the field again.
So it'll be Pacific Nyangabiri that is going to be the man that is going to be summoned as soon as they allow that change to happen. But for now, Tampa Bay will have 10 on the field. And now we'll get that substitution. Nyangabiri from Burundi. His first season after, or second season rather, with Tampa Bay after spending 2023 with Valor in Canada.
And of course, that'll be one of Nielsen's substitution moments used up. So that may change how he has to manage the game as the minutes tick on.
Back to the point that you were making about the slow start to the year. You have to think about these two teams and what they have to replace. Nick Marcanic was record-breaking a season ago. That's obviously a gigantic piece to have to replace. And with Cal Jennings gone and no Leo Fernandez, Tampa Bay likewise having to make a big change up top in their goal scoring.
Of course, naturally for Charleston, Torres has stepped up his importance and his role in the offense for Charleston. It's off to a very good start also, but the 38 goals plus from Marcanic is something that we may not see for a while in the USL Championship. It really was a spectacular year, and I imagine he'll have similar fortunes in his endeavors in Europe.
Excellent hustle here. Jennings pops it behind, but Macias is there. Here comes Tampa Bay, full sprint ahead. Long distance shot, Zamudio bobbles, spillage, recovers.
Recovers is the right word. What looked like a fairly straightforward save turned into a calamity, but Zamudio did extremely well to save it in the end and snuff out any danger, but you'd expect him to make a light work of the first shot.
Zamudio, the keeper this year, last time as a full-time keeper was back in 2022 when he was with Loudon. And Pierman saying that their #1 priority, even with the loss of Nick Marcanic after Adam Grinwis retired last year, was to find a goalkeeper for this side. Landed on Zamudio. Switch of field here. Down by Dos Santos.
They always say that championship teams are built on defense, and of course the goalkeeper is a pinnacle part of that. For communication, for organization, obviously for bringing the defense comfort, to have the ability to press up and knowing that you have a good, strong goalkeeper who's going to come off their line and be able to cover you. Otherwise, what you find is when there's not that confidence in the goalkeeper, the defensive line just drops deeper and deeper and deeper, and you end up playing way deeper in your half than you would like. When you have a strong, good goalkeeper, it allows the defense to get higher up. So interesting the way that the game has evolved, and I think it's re-evolving again, where so many games that we watch now, the players who have the most touches on the ball generally tend to be the goalkeepers. I mean, not the goalkeepers, I mean the centre-backs, because of the possession base and teams dropping off, allowing the centre-backs to have time and space on the ball. Now the game's reverting a little bit, and people want to see the offensive players in possession of the ball. They maybe want to be less patient being in possession, and they want more end-to-end action. So it's interesting to see how the game deviates every few years. The generic plan that everybody copies or uses seems to switch, and I think we're starting to get away from the centre-backs being the ones in possession of the ball all the time and revert back trying to get the offensive attacking players that get people up off their seats back in possession of the ball.
It's a good overlap here. The ball thrown across, and it's just chipped away. It's a throw and not a corner, though.
And I think that's also where possession stats can sometimes be misleading. If your two centre-backs, if you have the dominance of possession, but all of that possession is with your two centre-backs at the halfway line and it's not threatening, then it doesn't really stand for much come the end of the game. You have one team keeping their shape and staying organised, and another team keeping the ball with their centre-backs. I think if the possession is a little different, it's with your wingers, crosses are coming to the box, or with your number 10s, or the number 9 is dominating the possession, or your 6s, or maybe your centre-backs are pushing extremely high up and contributing to key passes in the attacking third, then it makes a difference. But I think if a team is just allowing you to have possession and allowing your centre-backs to pass side to side, it's not essentially, it's very meaningful, the statistic of who had the most possession, because we see games now where maybe it's 70-30 and the team that had 30% runs out 3-0 winners, because when they did win the ball, they quickly turned it into goal scoring opportunities and they were more transition.
To your point, Ben Pierman said that Tampa Bay likes to have high energy as the game goes along. We're seeing it here with this foul. He said, hopefully we can use that energy against them in transition. Sometimes if Tampa Bay might get a little bit aggressive, they might be able to pop off in that transitional moment.
Yeah, and we spoke to him also about how sometimes teams' tactics adjust as the summer kicks in, because the heat is no joke, and it has an impact on the players physically, from exhaustion, from dehydration. So normally during the cooler months, the speed of play is a little bit quicker. It can be a little bit more transitional. You can press high consistently throughout the duration of the game.
Long distance attempt, one hops Campisi.
But once you get into those summer months and things heat up, you really have to pick your moments when you press, when you need to drop off, rather than and go in and utilizing high energy every moment.
It's a Charleston team that went to the USL final 2 years ago and maybe minutes away from beating Phoenix. Eventually lost to the Rising. And last year falling to Rhode Island in the Eastern Conference final. After dueling it out with Lou City for the top spot in the league for much of the year, those two teams ran away with the regular season. Tampa Bay, meanwhile, consistently one of the best teams in the league, consistently in that picture to try to capture a championship. They have the 2 stars on the kit.
Yeah, but I think the 2 names we consistently envision at the top of the table is Tampa Bay Rowdies and Louisville. Louisville obviously are exactly where we expect them to be right now, and this is why it's a little bit of a slow start for Tampa Bay Rowdies, because they've allowed Louisville to get that head start ahead of them right now. And obviously now they're playing catch up. There's still a lot of time. Louisville may drop points, but it's important now to go on a quick run of games to close that gap. A run of wins.
Toward pace to this one. Charleston attacks. In that particular area, other than men in green. Through the middle, Macias. Space on that left-hand side. McPherson had to hold up. Tiago is offside, so that allows Charleston to recover.
I think there's opportunity there for Tampa to have more success in the transition moments. I don't think there was anything wrong with what Torres attempted there. You know, he's a creative player. He's going to try to probe the defense and take risks, but his reaction when the pass didn't go his way, it was almost 7-8 seconds before he decided to transition to defense and get back into his shaping. So there's obviously space that can be exploited there. I think it's going to be an area that Ben Berman wants to address. That he doesn't mind him taking risks and being creative and trying to play the difficult passes, but when it's the time to transition to defense, it has to be immediate at maximum speed and not 10 seconds after he's got out of his feelings.
Almost.
Nyangabiri got that last kick in on Leland Archer. And how things are playing out, we're not far away from our first booking of the day. Four of the 5 shots that we've seen combined between these two teams have been on target. Here's Dos Santos funneling this along the sideline. Ikaza chases, and it's a throw in the end. Nyangabiri beats Ikaza to it.
Been very active since he's coming to the game. Being demanded his best defensive effort so far. Charleston putting a lot of pressure on this right-hand side for Tampa Bay Rowdies right now.
These two teams met in the Eastern Conference semifinals last year. They're currently tied for 7th in the East this season, but with a long way to go. Could very well be another playoff preview here today. Charleston have won 5 of the last 6 times these two teams have met.
I'm gonna hold on to it. Okay.
Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point.
Opportunities from both teams at the moment coming from distance. The shots that have hit the target have been long shots. They've not been able to really penetrate or get in behind the back line. They're both opting or being forced to take shots from distance, which kind of gives credit to the defensive discipline that both of these teams are showing, that there's not the opportunity to make penetrating passes behind this defense as yet in this game.
Chris Allen swirls. Now here on the right-hand side, it comes through the middle. Ikaza. It's it out wide. Ikaza gets it back, pops it, shuttles it. Tampa Bay clear.
I think if there is an area of weakness that you may attack in Charleston, given the last game, it would be attacks from wide areas. We saw the inverted wingers against North Carolina be able to pick up the ball in time and space and take shots. We saw crosses coming from wide areas and the defense not dropping quick enough. So if you would say that there's an area where you could take advantage against, or where you may highlight as a weakness for Charleston, it would be getting into the wide areas and delivering crosses, which we've not seen so much from Tampa Bay Rowdies as yet in this game.
CS carries that ball nearly half of the field before he passes. It's taken over now. Bassett fires this one. Arteaga the only man over there, but 3 black jerseys were standing in the way.
Good patient build up here from Charleston. Calming composure at the back. But this is the possession that we were speaking about, that some teams are happy to let you have the ball in these areas and keep possession amongst your defenders. They're just waiting for that moment for the mistake. They're waiting for the bad touch. I think the difference is when you do have possession and you're able to switch the point of attack quickly, moving the ball from side to side, then it becomes extremely physically demanding for the team that's out of possession. And obviously over the course of 90 minutes, the holes and the gaps will gradually start to appear. But when you're just playing sideways and backwards and not essentially moving them quickly, there's not that much energy being consumed despite not having possession of the ball.
This ball's floated into the air. Jennings tries to get there first. The flag up, however, for offside. BC did well, however, to come off of his line.
Yeah, you saw the goalkeeper genetic kick in there. He was going full pelt. His fist was coming. Strikers always have to be wary in those moments. When goalkeepers come off their line at that kind of velocity, you know they're coming with their arms. You either have to be smart enough to get out of the way, or you have to hit him first. Fortunately here, both players get back up to their feet fairly quickly, but always dangerous encounters when goalkeepers come flying out like that.
Nielsen talked about his group so far. They're creating chances, but haven't been able to score those goals so far this year. Saw it at the outset of this one. Second fewest goals scored in the league. Only Hartford entering the week have scored fewer goals. And they have the lowest conversion rate in the league. 45 total shots, only 10 have been on target to this point in the year. And through 20 minutes in this fun matchup between two sides sitting at 1-2 to begin the year. Scoreless so far between Charleston Battery and Tampa Bay Rowdies. Michael Watrang, Chris Nurse, and our team with you here at Patriots Point. Good to have you on board on a pleasant day in Mount Pleasant.
Yeah, when we spoke to Ben Perman, we asked him, you know, your current goal difference is 0. 4 goals for, 4 goals against. Where has the emphasis been on in training this week? Is it about the defense tightening up and conceding less, or is it about the offense converting more? Because 4 goals is not a bad return, but if you can only win games when you score multiple goals, it's always going to be challenging. You have to have a defense where you're able to score 1 goal and win the game. If you're always going to concede every game, then it's going to become very challenging, especially sometimes when you're going to be on the road. So he did mention that they've tightened up a little bit defensively, their shape, how they press, the distances in between the lines. But he also did mention that he wants them to be a little bit more clinical in converting in the attacking third. So it was a mixture of being more effective in both boxes.
Working out of the back here is Charleston. Leland Archer. Archer. Allen. Jennings carries. Jennings lifts this ball across, but Campisi is right there. The Battery are back in action at Patriots Point on Saturday, April 12th, as they take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at 7:30 p.m. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticket provider of the Battery. Get yours now.
Referee giving a water break here, maybe, right?
Well, another man down for Tampa Bay, and if you're just joining us, Nick Moon had to come off of the field. Less than 10 minutes into the match. Officially, the substitution happened in the 7th minute. Tampa Bay can ill afford to use another change this early in the game, and another window as well.
It's always interesting. Sometimes the style of play of the coaches can have an impact on the injuries on the squad. And performance coaches say it best. You can have a really healthy squad and hardly train. Or if you're going to train with intensity and maximum effort, then you're going to probably break a few to make a few. It's always interesting to see which direction most coaches. And if you know you're going to make a few, you're going to break a few to make a few, you need to have depth in your roster so that you know that when those bodies drop, you have the depth to replace them. If you maybe don't have that depth in your roster, that's probably when you need to be a little bit more mindful of just managing training sessions to improve the team, but also to keep the players as healthy as they can, which means that that level of intensity and maximum effort has to be monitored a little bit more closely than another team with a deeper roster.
It's Lawrence White closing in on 10,000 career minutes in the USL, his second stint with Tampa Bay. Collegiately at Furman. Rest of our location here in Mount Pleasant. Furman playing in near Greenville, South Carolina.
Of course, being the 5th game for both of these teams of the regular season, well, maybe a little bit more than the 5th game given the Open Cup games. For me, it normally takes somewhere between 5 to 8 games before players really get their full match fitness and their momentum at the beginning of the year. So we're now approaching that phase where players really start to get their confidence, their momentum, their match fitness, and everything starts to click and gel a little bit more. Of course, they play preseason games, but there's nothing that you can really do that replicates the importance and the intensity of a regular season fixture.
Here's Hosu. Dribbles and finally passes. Tampa Bay shutting down alleys. Eventually leads to a giveaway. Jennings called for the foul. Well, we had that early flurry of shots, but we have not had one in nearly 15 minutes for either side. Eastern Conference proving to be very, very good to begin this season. Rhode Island leading Oakland 3-0. That game's got a couple minutes left. Loudon off to the best start of anybody in the league at this point. Eyeing their 4th win of the year as they lead Hartford 1-0.
Which currently has them sitting on top. I'll be interested if they can sustain that pace for the duration of the season. Their expectations or their measure of success is maybe often sometimes a little bit different to the likes of Louisville or Detroit, Charleston, Tampa. You know, the expectations of those organizations, number one and number one only. For Loudon, the expectation more often than not has been get yourselves into the playoffs and have a crack at it. But when you start to put yourselves in the upper echelons and you're sitting top of the table, you can quickly raise those expectations.
Yeah, that's exactly what we saw with Charleston. Organization that has consistently been one of the best in the league. They went through that rough patch a couple of years ago, as you'd see Cal Jennings commit another foul. Neon Gabiri again stepping over. But they were the bottom team in the league, and Ben Pierman came in year 1. Biggest turnaround ever. Here's Jennings laying it back forward. It's Allen trying to get this ball at his feet and eventually just gets a stab at it. And no problems for Campisi.
ends up being a good defensive block. I think if he hits it first time, it's in the back of the net. Jennings providing the final pass, but opted to take the extra touch. A defender gets well and makes the block.
Another giveaway in the middle of the field. Here's Klein. Jennings quickly with it. Jennings penetrates, leaves it off to the right-hand side. An opportunity for Juan David Torres. That slices wide.
Fantastic opportunity for Charleston to take lead here. Cutting through Tampa like a knife through butter. Great first touch here from Torres. Just needs to slip this into the corner and he just swings it a little bit wide, lacking the accuracy, but the through pass from Jennings, the first touch from Torres, just lacking that final finish to give Charleston the go-ahead goal.
Perhaps signs of things to come for the Battery. All started with Klein taking the ball away, and Juan David Torres has a goal and an assist already this season. Nearly had a chance to give the Battery the early edge in this one.
And I think that's where we were defining about being more efficient in transition moments. Tampa have sat predominantly a little bit deeper, but when Charleston have pressed aggressively, they won the ball, they make runs in behind the back line at speed, they've created chances, but they just haven't converted those chances. So when Ben Penman was speaking about being more efficient in transition moments, I think it's that. You get that opportunity they're giving one there, they put it into the back of the net, and now they're in control of the game.
Instead, it remains scoreless, and Charleston hunt for a goal. They've scored at home in 16 consecutive matches. Macias knocks that ball away and just does not quite have the horsepower to pick it back up. 30th minute of play, we are scoreless in a clash that has been incredibly tight in recent years. 13 of the 21 decisions in this series have been decided by just one goal. Alongside Chris Nurse and our team, Michael Watring with you here at Patriots Point, enjoying this matchup in the USL Championship. Nearly too clever there as this ball gets bailed out. The wind knocks it down. Now Malloy takes over. Has plenty of space on this left-hand side, and it's a sprinting run here for John Klein. Klein debates. Dos Santos. Allen. Malloy. Malloy elects to go right through the middle, and it gets banged away and goes out for a corner kick. First one of the night here for Charleston.
Charleston again looking dangerous on the counter-attack here. It was 3 versus 1 on this left-hand side. Just the final pass wasn't good enough to lead to any kind of entry pass into the box, but you can see when they transition at speed, very deadly. Just about that final pass and that final touch to kill it off.
Corner kick brought to you by Pepper Law Firm. Here's this corner, low lining in it, ricochets through. And finally, Akaza slows it down, but we get a whistle first and foremost. Tampa Bay have another man injured in this one, and it's Manuel Arteaga.
Tampa Bay will be going at halftime a little bit battered and bruised. Been 3 or 4 players who have gone down, requiring the physio to come on in this opening 30 minutes of the game. Corner kick probably wasn't hit as fluid as it would like, hard to see, but I imagine there was some kind of head collision inside the box there, why the referee was so quick to stop play, given that the ball was still in possession of Tampa inside the 18-yard box.
Injury stoppage presented by MUSC Health. And Sports Medicine. Santiago will have to step out. There'll be a goal here in this first half, and it's going to be a drop ball to restart action. half hour of this game is somewhat proven to be a tad bit of a microcosm of these two teams to this point in the season. Both sitting at 1-2 on the year, but frustrated in their goal-scoring chances. And here's another giveaway. Juan David Torres has it, throws it through the middle and gets it back. Torres with a right foot. Campisi smothers.
That was a little bit more than a giveaway there. That's reckless possession, to say the least. Again, Charleston counter-attacking, runs in behind, just lacking that killer instinct inside the box right now. We spoke about Torres being the man who's maybe has the responsibility of picking up the slack in the absence of Marcanic. He's had a few good chances in this opening 30 minutes. But it's not about how many chances you have. It's about being clinical in your conversion percentage, and I think that's the problem right now, is how many chances, or good chances, because they're not just half chances. These are pretty good chances that Charleston have that they're converting.
Well, these two teams very different in how the schedule plays out to begin the year. For Tampa Bay, it's 4 consecutive on the road to begin the season, and then they go 6 consecutive at home. Meanwhile, for Charleston, 4 of their first 5 league games are on this pitch. Foul given. So for Tampa Bay, it's trying to keep the head above water. For Charleston on the other side, results imperative to begin the year.
Yeah, as you all know, if you want to have a good chance of winning the championship, you need to capitalize on your home games. You want to make your home place a fortress. You want to pick up the 3 points at home. When you go on the road, it can be extremely difficult. The travel, the circumstances, the change in atmosphere, sometimes the change in altitude if you're traveling to certain stadiums, all of that has a huge impact. So sometimes you go away from home, you get to the 60th minute or 70th minute and the game is still tied, and you're happy to leave with a point. When you're at home, though, if that's going to be the means that you go about success, it's very important that when you're at home, you get those 3 points.
Dos Santos tries to pick things up here. Charleston outshooting Tampa Bay 4-2 after Tampa Bay had outshot its foes by 26 through the first 3. Charleston have outshot every opponent so far. This season they have 11 or more in all 3 of those, so we expect some more shot attempts here before the end of the first half. The turnovers have plagued these two groups. Arteaga wins the race to get there, but 2 defenders on his rear. Unable to run away from either of them. Torres knocks it out. Gabiri. Defenders converged. Kaza made the appeal that it was last touched by Neon Gabiri, but not the case. The USL on CBS kicks off tomorrow with 2 former USL Championship title winners battling it out. Join us at 4 p.m. Eastern as undefeated San Antonio FC takes on Western Conference rival Phoenix Rising FC tomorrow on CBS. Neon Gabiri dances around Dos Santos. Neon Gabiri punches this through. It's saved by Zamudio. Second go at it, Wyke.
Great work there from Neon Gabiri. You just wondered, instead of playing it across the face of the goal, if there was a player just outside the 6-yard box that he could have cut it back to. But great 1v1 ability. Takes on 2 or 3 players and tries to provide that final pass. Zamudio does a great job of saving it here, but Sells Dos Santos, drives into the box. Final pass. Great opportunity. That may be one of Tampa Bay Rowdies' best opportunities of this first half, and some great individual ability there from Nyongabiri to create that opportunity.
Cal Jennings works this over everybody, playing against his former team. No question he wants to have an impact in this match. Man with 3 goals already for the year. Left-hand side. Here goes Tampa Bay Rowdies with another go at it. Gabiri runs away from Klein, keeps his balance. Neon Gabiri throws this in, and it's Pasius lifting it over the top. And yet again, Neon Gabiri providing danger.
It's good work again here from Neon Gabiri. Shrugs off Klein, drives it, but he cuts this back, and it just slows down a little bit before Pasius would have liked, and the ball's a little bit behind him. He does his best to try and get the strike on goal, but it was a little bit of a difficult angle. But Nyongabiri is showing to be both a defensive weapon and an attacking asset here on this right-hand side in this last 10 minutes for Tampa Bay Rowdies. He's got the better of Klein and 1v1 opportunities twice now in the last 5 minutes.
The 2 best chances for Tampa Bay in this first half, you could argue, were those 2 moments right there by Neon Gabiri, in which nobody could stay touch tight. Tampa Bay, after holding about 35% of the possession, starting to flex its muscle here in the waning moments of this first half.
I'm on the fence here whether we are. The going topic is the dying of the number 10 position, the player who has the ability to pick up the ball in the midfield and play that killer pass or that killer through pass. It just has that quality in possession to kill the defense. And seeing the opportunities we're watching today, I'm kind of leaning into the fence that that number 10 position, or those special players that used to have that role in the team, is becoming a little bit obsolete right now. I'm looking at the midfield for both teams and just looking for that one player that you know you need to find in possession who has the ability to thread the needle. And I'm not sure I can identify who that is for either of these teams as yet.
Definitely feels like a lot of the action is going along the channels, the wide channels, and certainly not through the middle of the park.
Yeah, I think it's an interesting concept, because of course the number 10 used to be, or it still is to a certain degree, the most coveted position, the most special player in the team, the one who has the most ability on the ball, the one who can knock defenses, the one who can really take over the game and dominate in the center of the park. But just watching the chances created and the quality of that final pass, it really just brings to your attention how special those individuals are who have that unique talent to be able to break defenses and thread the needle with one pass. If there's a player that comes to mind maybe right now that I've seen play recently, I think De Villa for Louisville has that capability.
Ball down the field just off of the head. Neon Gabiri again running away from everybody. Twirls around. This time Klein gets the better of it. Looking at the heat map in this game that's provided to us by our stat group, the majority of the possession is along the right side and left side for Charleston in the attack, and mostly along the right for Tampa Bay so far. Malloy. Will there be a goal between one of these two teams before halftime? Sitting scoreless here in the 25th meeting between Tampa Bay and Charleston. sideline it goes. So Santos chases. PC skies this ball along the sideline, and then a stumble. Macias goes down, no foul.
Interesting for Charleston right now. Torres just kind of having a free roll to glide around the field into any position. Of course, he's a player that you want to find high up the field in attacking positions because he's a player who can get himself on the score sheet, but he's dropping very deep at times to also try and become a creator in possession of the ball. I think if you're Tampa Bay Rowdies and you start to see Torres dropping deep to pick up the ball, you're happy with that because it completely eliminates him being the goal threat himself. Now he has to turn provider for somebody else. And more often than not, he's a player who can get himself on the score sheet in those moments.
Hosu. High arcing ball along the side. And Gabiri heads it away. Macias. And now we do get our first booking, and it is on Wubens. It's the first man booked here tonight. Macias.
It's a little bit high there, Passius. Striker's tackle. When you get starved of service and you start to be a little bit frustrated, there's often sometimes the lash outs that you can see from attacking minded players. It's more so a result of frustration more so than an intent to hurt the opponents.
This is an excellent ball forward here. Hosu gets the angle, and it's a penalty just inside of the chalk. Hosu draws it, but it's a wonderful pass, and Charleston have a chance to get the opening goal.
We spoke about Torres and the positions that he was starting to pick up in. He just does a great job of dropping deep in the pocket. He recognizes the run. It's a great through ball in behind. I'll be interested to see the replay given how strongly Bodley is at protesting this. There might be contact. I don't think it's as much as we might have thought. But Bodley is convinced that this should not be a PK. But great chance now for Charleston to get themselves the go-ahead goal. It's your man Jennings stepping up right before half-time. This completely changes the team talks for both teams.
Cal Jennings' last 4 penalties have all gone to the right of the keeper. Trying to go in that bottom corner. He scored 3. He's had 1 saved. And 5 minutes of stoppage time here in this first half.
And of course, if we have that data's out there. This is the new evolution. There's no secrets anymore. There's no hiding anything. Maybe now a coach would have had to go and watch all your penalties before, and now the data is just there for you to at a click. Does he go to the same side, or does he switch it up?
Jennings prepares to score against his former team. Jennings strikes this, goes inside of that left corner, and he scores against his former side. Exactly where he has gone with his last 4, and the Battery lead 1-0.
He let Campisi know what that penalty kick meant to him also. He knew where he was going, but the penalty kick was just too good to stop. The accuracy of it, the pace on the ball. Jennings looked like he really enjoyed that, scoring that goal, to be honest. It's a little bit clumsy, to be fair, for Bodley. The contact is minimal, but fantastic conversion, the penalty kick from Jennings. And he gives Charleston the go-ahead goal against his former team, the Tampa Bay Rowdies, and gets into a little confrontation with Campisi about it. Imagine they were exchanging words maybe just before the strike.
The Battery goal is brought to you by Diamonds Direct, the official jeweler of the Battery. And Cal Jennings has scored his 4th goal in his 4th appearance with the Charleston Battery. That is number 69 for his career, and now sole possession of top 10 in the USL Championship's history.
And it's always interesting to see how goals change games. Even in the 2 minutes preceding the goal, now all of a sudden Charleston look like they have a pep in their step. They're going a little bit more intense. And maybe just going into half-time now, this is where they need to slow the game down a little bit and just kill the clock. But it actually looks like since the goal, they're playing with more energy and more confidence.
It looked like we were going to play to a stalemate here in the opening 45. It's Charleston that get the opening goal.
Speaking of confidence, you're not short of confidence when you control the ball like that from Torres. I think we have to see that one again. Cheeky to say the least. Look, I'll be honest. If you control the ball like that against me, you might be rolling too. I mean, it's a foul, but I'll say I'll keep quiet.
That was a delightful touch, no question about it, by Juan David Torres. As Ali Bassett gets the yellow card.
I think he rightfully took offense to it. I don't blame him whatsoever. You can either respond or you can give him a round of applause. I know which one I'll be responding with.
Goal kick. Cal Jennings the last to touch. Both of these teams understand what is on the line here in this one. Charleston has won the last 4 times these two have squared off. Here at Patriots Point, the last time Tampa Bay left this pitch with a win was back in 2021. Commits the foul this time.
And of course, we're speaking about being early in the season, but there's only so long you can say it's early in the season. If this result holds for Tampa Bay Rowdies, now we're 5 games into the season, and I don't think we're talking about being early anymore. I think now it begins to become a conversation about a poor run of form. You drop down to 9th position, you're outside the playoff positions, you'd then be a whole 9 points away from Loudoun, 7 points away from Louisville City in the opening 5 games of the season. I don't think that now it becomes a mindset problem. It can become an energy problem. It can become a confidence problem. So I think it's something that they're going to want to address fairly quickly. Of course, every coach wants to pick up games. They want to get off to a good start. They want to win. But I think then it becomes where Tampa Bay Rowdies have to look a little bit deeper about the results. As I said, I wasn't enthused with the 2-1 win against Miami FC. Miami FC, for me, are not the standard you measure yourself up against right now, although it's your first 3 points of the season. If you really are going to rise to the levels that you've been in previous years, you put them to bed 4 or 5-0. A 2-1 win and Miami missing a penalty.
This ball trickles to the back post and hits the left bar. Just unable to get that angle and nearly a stoppage time stunner.
Couldn't have put a better opportunity there. Literally the last kick of the first half, you could have equalised and gone in level pegging. Just caught Charleston sleeping here. McPherson with the delivery to the back post, and this Artiega there hits the outside of the upright rather than the back of the net. He'll be reeling that he hasn't given his team the equaliser.
Dos Santos just as far as he can. It skims off of Jennings' head. Encarnacion looks at his watch. That goal and the foul before it might allow for a few extra moments. And there is the first half whistle, and Cal Jennings indeed does the damage against his former club. A penalty kick goal in the first minute of first half stoppage time, and Charleston leads this 1-0.
Yeah, Charleston have had a couple of opportunities where they could be in the lead by 2 and 3. Obviously, we saw the chance to Tampa Bay Rowdies right at the end of the first half where they could have got the equaliser, but Charleston going 1-0.
And that is the score at the break. Is Tampa Bay trail at Charleston by 1-0. 1-0 differential. It's halftime here at Patriots Point. Our halftime sponsor is The Ideal Life. We'll come back, look around the USL, have the first half highlights when we return with the Battery leading it 1-0.
Charleston is located in the Low Country of South Carolina.
The history here, it runs deep, and you can't imagine being anyplace else.
This place is magical.
NRDNASC is a genomic screening research program. If we can identify a specific genetic factor that's involved, we can intensify the screening with an effort to prevent cancer and heart disease.
The NRDNA project is really a unique opportunity for individuals across the state to participate in genetic testing. That's another way to help provide data and research so we can learn more about the underlying causes of certain health conditions.
Declare your purpose at Charleston Southern University, offering a wide range of undergraduate degree programs, including majors like aeronautics, engineering, business, and education. CSU is committed to providing you with a biblical worldview and a cutting-edge education. The campus experience includes Division I athletics, small class sizes, intramural sports, and more, all at the only Christian university in the Low Country of South Carolina. Join the Buccaneer family and apply today at charlestonsouthern.edu.
When things heat up, you don't just want a cold one. You want the coldest one. The cold lagered, cold filtered, cold packaged one. Mountain Cold Refreshment. Coors Light. Choose chill.
Matchup. There's some great moments last week in the USL. Let's look at the goal and the saves of the week. Rolling service. It's well created. Take that one from the training ground. Monterey Bay continue their fabulous form. It. Oh, he's dancing with the ball. And how about that service to Cabral? But Campuzano is ready.
That's a really good save from Campuzano. Stretched out that right hand of his.
To the near side, Ostrom now one-on-one to the back post, arriving is Kickoff! A lovely volley, cushioned with the instep, and Union Omaha go in front. For Louis Hale to make it 3 for Spokane Velocity, it's saved! Rankenberg keeps his side alive.
It's 1-0 Charleston in front of Tampa Bay at halftime. And the Charleston Battery went out into one of Charleston's local treasures to help clean up and protect the beach for National Volunteer Month.
April is National Volunteer Month, and the Charleston Battery are giving back to the Low Country community. Today I'm joining some of the players as they step off the pitch and help protect one of our local treasures at Folly Beach.
Charleston's such a coastal community, so being out on the beach like this, it's nice to feel the water, be in the sand, and help out the community.
Growing up in Massachusetts on Cape Cod on the beach, you know, being around the beach and seeing the effects of global warming and rising tides and stuff like that, it's important to keep these beaches clean, to protect them for, you know, the children here growing up.
It's important for us to come out and be in the community. I think it gives us more of a connection to the people and the place that we're at.
It's a great experience getting to be with the guys, you know, on the pitch, but obviously off the pitch is where we make even more memories, so it's good to connect with them through these experiences as a team.
Pain doesn't care who you are or why you hurt, but pain can be mastered if you know the way. Fight back with Tiger Balm's legendary herbal power. Trusted for over 100 years, our proven blend of camphor, menthol, and essential oils tames pain with the strength and speed of the tiger, so that you can rise above pain and get back to living. This is the way of the tiger.
Whoa! Termites can eat a pound of wood a day. 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 What's wrong, Daddy? Daddy? You okay?
Keep termites out of your home and your head with our premium guarantee that covers up to $250,000 in new termite damage. Before panic shows up, Terminix it.
Success doesn't come easy. It takes grit, hustle, and relentless effort. Every step forward brings you closer to greatness. This is your moment. Elevate your game. El Jimador Spiked Bebidas.
Hola. ¿Alguna otra cerveza?
No, Michelob Ultra.
Ok, ahora vuelvo.
The light.
We welcome you back here to the Palmetto State, where it is a 1-0 edge for Charleston at the half. And time to take a look at the news and the notes from around the USL. And we look at the top. You have El Paso, Loudoun, Miami, Tulsa all advancing, and they're joined by 16 fellow USL Championship clubs in the third round, so 20 total will play on April 15th and 16th. And of course, tomorrow, San Antonio looking to extend its club record start against Phoenix on CBS. Kickoff is 4 p.m. Eastern time for that one. And then Player of the Month nominees, be sure to vote for those for the March Player of the Month. Scoreboard from around the league so far. There are a couple games that are final. As Rhode Island wins, they scored 3 goals in the final 5 minutes of the first half to equal Holstead and Williams, all scoring to make it 3-0 for Rhode Island. Scoreless between Detroit and Monterey Bay tonight, and it just has gone final. 2-0 the victory for Loudoun, with Keegan Teague scoring the opener in that one. The upcoming schedule in the USL looks like this. As you see, kickoff about 20 minutes away on CBS Sports Golazo between Indy 11 and North Carolina. El Paso and Lexington later tonight. Sacramento Blue City is going to be a good one. And Las Vegas Lights and Orange County cap the evening on another busy day in the USL Championship. Here, it is Charleston leading in this no-quarter derby, 1-0 over Tampa Bay. When we come back, we'll look at the first half highlights and have the second half kick.
Return to the field. Score the winning shot. Beat your personal record. Team up with MUSC Health Sports Medicine for all your sports-related injury care and rehabilitation. MUSC Health is the official sports medicine provider for your favorite local teams. From semi-pro athletes to weekend warriors, our sports medicine team provides state-of-the-art injury prevention, treatment, surgery, and rehabilitation for athletes of all ages. Go where the pros go. Schedule an appointment today.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Halftime here in the Low Country. It's Charleston 1, Tampa Bay 0 after 45 minutes of play. And we had some early fireworks in this one with both sides getting some chances in the opening moments. Michael and Chris back with you, but ultimately the goalkeepers were sturdy in the early portion of this as giveaways leading to chances for Charleston.
Yeah, we spoke about Charleston having a number of good opportunities in the first half, just unable to capitalize them. It was a little while before they were able to take the lead, but of course, later on we'll see that goal.
Our halftime highlights brought to you by Publix. In the 9th minute, this long shot from Bassett was seemingly a routine save, but Zamudio had some spillage and it was nearly capitalized by Arteaga.
Yeah, almost an early Christmas gift there for the Tampa Bay Rowdies, but Zamudio was able to redeem himself and regather the ball.
Here, Cal Jennings made a run and Juan David Torres gave it a go.
Torres finding space on that right-hand side. Great first touch, great pass from Jennings, just unable to have the composure and accuracy to slide this into the corner of the goal, but this was a little bit of a teaser of what was to come shortly.
33rd minute of play now and more action from Charleston, sliding this ball in, and yet again it was Torres giving it a chance.
It was again the combination there from the middle going out to Torres. Good little 1-2, doesn't get the ball out his feet as he would have liked with that first touch, but does well to adjust and get the shot off with his right foot.
And then
straight to goalkeeper's hands.
Yeah, and then in stoppage time, it was this pass from Torres, and Bodley just couldn't get in front of Hosu.
Yeah, we spoke about Torres dropping deeper to get touches on the ball and becoming a playmaker rather than being the one having the shots on goal. And a little bit of clumsiness inside the box gave the main man, Jennings, the opportunity to get the go-ahead goal against his old team. A little bit of exchange of words after. We thought it was going to be a friendly encounter, but it's been anything but.
Jennings scoring for the 4th time in his new kit. And then right at the end, it looked like maybe Tampa Bay was going to tie it up.
Great ball into the box here from McPherson. It comes to the back post. I think it's Arteaga. Hits the outside of the upright with the last kick of the first half. A great opportunity to get the equalising goal going into the locker rooms. But unfortunately, Tampa Bay Rowdies come up short.
Our stats brought to you by Spinks, and it's even in shots. Possession favors Charleston. But if you're Tampa Bay, how do you get back into this game? You've had a bunch of shots this year, just haven't scored.
Yeah, I think both the shots and opportunities created favors Charleston at this moment, as we saw a couple of tame efforts from Tampa Bay Rowdies, but nothing overly threatening. So they're not controlling the tempo of the game. They're not necessarily creating a ton of opportunities on the counter-attack. So I think they're going to have to adjust some things in the second half to get themselves back into this game. And I think it starts from the back. They've given up the ball on a number of opportunities that Charleston have one possession of the ball but haven't punished them. The only opportunity they've been punished on is the clumsy penalty kick that was given away. It's going to be a very interesting, exciting second half to this encounter.
So, second half getting ready to get started here in this matchup between two teams that reached the Eastern Conference semifinals last year. It was Charleston winning the semifinal meeting 2-1, despite the fact that Tampa scored first in that matchup when Arteaga scored at the half-hour mark. Marcanic and Malloy would score later on to prove to be the difference in that game and send Charleston back to an Eastern Conference final for the second consecutive year, where Rhode Island would pull off the upset and reach the USL Championship Cup final. So here in the second half, two sides that desperately need 3 points. And when you look at the table, 3 points would mean a chance to pull tight with the top 3 or 4. And meanwhile, if you're Tampa Bay, good news, you go home for 6 straight. Bad news, it's Loudoun and Lou City looming next.
It's not just I saw some names in that huddle and I was like, wow, we've just played 45 minutes and I don't think I've mentioned Malloy, Allen or Husu in that opening 40 minutes, which means not much has come from the right back overlapping or anything down the right side, although Torres has been active in the attacking half, and definitely there's not been much in the middle, well, play in the middle, not to say that the two are having a bad game, but there's not been much build through the middle for Allen and Malloy or Ikaza in that first half from Charleston. Things have definitely been a lot more active with Dos Santos, Klein, Jennings and Torres.
Aaron Guillen coming in as he makes the substitution. He comes in and Blake Bodley goes out.
I actually want to say the same for Tampa. We've not really mentioned Chrysostomo, Hilton that often in the first half. We've mentioned Moon, who got the early substitution. We've mentioned Passius, White, Bodley, Bassett, Artiega, McPherson. Interesting that both teams seem to use their wide players more so than the central players.
Substitutions are brought to you by Publix, and corners are brought to you by Pepper Law Firm. Juan David Torres curls this ball in. Campisi punches it out. Malloy will not get there in time. Here's Bassett sprinting into space.
Torres does have quality from those corner kick deliveries. The pace and the ability to whip the ball and get it to just dip in that near post area.
Guillen will escort that ball out.
I want to say this is probably one of the warmer evenings for both of these teams so far this year, and I think you can see it creeping a little bit. Cramps, players are stretching a little more frequently, dehydration, electrolytes, all of those extra little nuances that can give you the extra inch and advantage over your opponents become so critical over the course of the season, because maybe you get away with 1 or 2 games, but you've still got a good 20 games to play as the temperatures get warmer right now. So looking after your body is probably one of the most valuable things in the attempt to win a championship, because availability is the best ability.
Keep in mind, this was a 5:30 p.m. local time kick as well, so a little bit earlier in the day for this matchup. This ball skips off the top of the head. Jennings chases after it. White rolls it back. Campisi slows. Campisi nearly makes a mess out of it. Now Ikaza has it. Turnover. Juan David Torres. Right foot ball, curls it. Back out top. Malloy unable to skirt around one Rowdy. And here we go in the counter. Neon Gabiri.
I'm still trying to catch my breath from Campisi on his goal line, just then Cruyffing, and then he drills it low along the floor to the opponents. I think he did well to get away with the Cruyff turn on his line, but then he's got to clear it.
Here's this cross coming in. Artiaga unable to slow it down and get it onto his foot, and doesn't get a piece at all in the end.
Dangerous ball into the box there, and Artiaga does well. He finds a space in between the two centre backs. Just needs to get any kind of connection on that ball into the back of the net, but I think the Charleston defenders, they're going to want to pay a little bit closer attention to him.
The Battery's brand new 2025 kit is on sale in Stadium and will be available online tomorrow, courtesy of Hummel, the club's official jersey provider. Check out the full line of new Battery gear, including customizable 2025 kits, by visiting shop.charlestonbattery.com. Malloy works away from Artiaga. Here's Allen. Cuts it out wide. Cross comes all the way through before it's finally punched away. Hosu knocks it down. Torres. Torres darts to that left. Torres blasts this ball. Knuckling out wide. Did it take a redirect for a corner? It did.
Torres just loves this little pocket of space in here. Just loves to shift on it to his left and try to bend it into the far corner. You have to be so careful because he does have that quality in his left foot, and if you allow him time and space, he's going to punish you.
Aaron Malloy takes this corner kick. Former USL Championship MVP finalist. Corner kick brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm. Malloy boomerangs this ball all the way across. Graham Smith doesn't get a piece of it. He was the closest target as it rolls out. Goal kick. And Charleston eyeing a goal here in the first 5 minutes.
It's a good delivery there from Malloy. Just hangs it up in the box for his teammates to attack and just nobody making the run. Smith, I think, was in a wrestling match, so he was unable to find space, but great delivery from Malloy.
Yeah. It behind. Tampa Bay looked for an equalizer. Guillen. And here's Hosu getting his hand up there. Looked like it hit his hand and then incidentally caught Guillen.
I think so, just a little bit of theatrics here, if you ask me. The ball kind of bobbles up, it hits somebody's hand, and then Guillen flies off his feet to the ground. A little bit of sportsmanship involved here. I'm not sure the touch was that aggressive enough to send him to the floor. Kusu does give him a little slap on the chin though.
And he gets a yellow card for the troubles.
The yellow card in the 52nd minute issued to Charleston Batteries number 91, Husu Landry.
Dodging run here by Crisostomo. Macias. Neon Gabiri. Unable to work it around Dos Santos, but gets it back. Neon Gabiri, left-footed ball, ends up near the bleachers.
It's a little bit lucky there, Neon Gabiri. I don't think the space was there to play the pass he was looking for on the first attempt. However, it comes back off the defender's leg, and he gets a second attempt, and then it's a hopeful shot from distance way over the crossbar.
Summarizes the year for Tampa Bay. Plenty of shots, just 2 goals in 3 matches. This ball lofted and Arteaga rips it wide.
It's the second good chance Arteaga's had. We spoke about the one at the end of the first half, I believe, was Arteaga's chance, but this one he does exceptionally well with the first touch. Just needs to get it on target. I believe if this is on target, it's in the back of the net because the venom that he strikes with, I don't think the goalkeeper's stopping that, but it ends up being high and wide, and another good half chance there, I would say, for Tampa Bay Rowdies. They're starting to change the dynamic a little bit and build a little bit more pressure on Charleston's defense.
Not only are Tampa Bay without Cal Jennings this year, who's now in the opposite kit. Leo Fernandez has not played so far this season. He's closing in on 50 career USL goals. Trying to find somebody with that scoring touch. Macias rolls this ball in. It gets knocked away by Archer, and it's last touched in the end by Tampa Bay.
Thought there was going to be a goal there, the ball ricocheting inside the box. He thought the rebound was going to fall kindly there. McPherson was following in. Ball probably just came a little bit quicker than he would have liked.
It's a great crowd, great atmosphere at Patriots Point. Watch these two sides. Jennings gets the edge for a moment against former teammate Wyke. Now cuts it back. Jennings gets inside. Jennings tosses it through. And Castellanos is the last to touch, and a corner kick for Charleston, rather. Corner kick brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, the official legal services provider of the Battery.
You can see Torres here at the far post, all alone. If that ball finds him, I think it's 2-0 Charleston. You can see he got his hand on his head here because he knew the amount of time and space that he was in there at the back post. Jennings just unable to find him.
Set a corner kick with Charleston leading at 1-0. Aaron Malloy curls this ball across. Castellanos nods it away. Juan David Torres had his sights on a highlight reel goal and can't keep it down.
Again, dangerous corner in swinging here from Malloy into crowded area players.
Pressure here. Charleston as it comes out. Bassett. And a foul. Battery matches are the perfect place to make lifelong memories with your friends and family. Your group of 10 or more can enjoy discounted tickets, exclusive on-field experiences, and private hospitality areas to catch the match. Visit charlestonbattery.com to learn more and plan a memorable night at Patriots Point. Definitely one of the best venues to catch a game. Always a great atmosphere and facility to watch the action. Last season, it led to 13 wins and 18 home matches. Jennings getting yanked, and he's the man that commits the foul.
You can see Tampa Bay Rowdies. You can hear Coach Nielsen from the sideline screaming higher. He wants them to put pressure on Charleston way up on the pitch, but the defense isn't pushing up quick enough, so the distance between the lines is huge, hence they almost got caught on the counter-attack just then. They've got to do a job of pressuring together.
Malloy takes this away. Aaron Malloy rips and misses wide left.
Fantastic opportunity for Malloy to put this game to bed. Again, a careless giveaway from Tampa Bay Rowdies here. I think it's White's difficult pass to Crisostomo, dispossessed. Malloy does everything right here. Sends the keeper the wrong way, opens up his hips. Just the accuracy on the final touch keeps Tampa Bay Rowdies in this game.
Yeah, Aaron Malloy, the man that had the game winner in the Eastern Conference semifinals in the 83rd minute. The last time these teams met, had a chance to make it 2-0 instead. Leaves the door open for Tampa Bay. Macias swings it out. Neon Gabiri hunts. Dos Santos wins the race, however.
Both teams guilty of getting caught a little bit in possession in dangerous areas and turning over the ball right now.
Neon Gabiri is the man that is whistled for an infraction here.
Allen there apologizing to his teammates for giving away the ball in a dangerous area. Neither a team able to capitalize on the opportunities they've been given from that perspective. Just lacking that killer instinct in and around the 18-yard box.
With the goal tonight, Charleston has now scored in its last 17 home matches. They haven't been shut out on this field since June 8th against Pittsburgh. It was a 0-0 draw. Tampa Bay be able to end its scoring drought in this match. Nearly an hour in, behind by a goal. Hilton charges. Yet again, the defensive work. Crisp from Charleston. From Guillen, not as much on the second bite as Bassett wasn't making the run, and frustration setting in here for Tampa. These two sides have played 6 consecutive matches that finished in a win for one or the other. There hasn't been a draw since 2022. Ball funneled along that left-hand side. Nobody in the box, really. And Neon Gabiri, again, defensively. He might be the best player on the field right now for Tampa Bay.
Definitely had a positive impact since Moon went down injured and he was called into the game very early on. One thing to note is that this Charleston roster will continue to get stronger as the season progresses. I think a big miss for them right now is Segba's. in the wide area is a very impactful attacking player who's out injured right now, but obviously as the season progresses or the weeks progress, they're going to get more bodies back, more competition for places, and obviously more depth in their squad.
MD Myers hasn't played as well yet this year. He's got 14 goals a season ago for the Battery. And now a free kick coming here just beyond the 1 hour mark. Charleston leads 1-0 on Cal Jennings' PK in the first minute of first half stoppage time. And here's a free kick scoring opportunity brought to you by ProLift Garage Doors. Another ProLift Garage Doors free kick for the Battery.
Not an opportunity you can afford to take lightly. Given the goalkeeper's position, I wouldn't be surprised to see Torres go for goal here himself rather than looking for his teammates.
Juan David Torres hooks this ball in. It was pretty comfortable for Campisi, but whistle beforehand. So nothing happens there, as I don't know if they jumped from their line a little early.
You get a second bite of the apple because the first attempt was a little lame.
Juan David Torres hooks this ball. It's the far post this time around. Campisi with both paws punches.
Interesting that Campisi chose to punch that rather than catch it. He wasn't really under the pressure. Could have sustained possession for his team, but who am I to criticize goalkeepers? I've never been one.
Marty 3's flat screen is dead, but the viewfinder's fine.
Osu. Torres dashes through the middle. Jennings, lefty on the touch. Pierman talking about Cal Jennings and bringing him into the fold.
Oh, it's a good look there from Torres. Intercepted, but you could see what he was trying to do, break the lines.
Osu. Osu continues his run, cannot keep it in play. But Ben Pierman said that he signed Jennings when he was an assistant at Memphis. They have that relationship. Knows that Jennings' career has taken off, but it's two people that know each other very well and are happy to be reunited here in Charleston. And what a relationship it has started out with 4 goals already from the Battery.
I think it's always a positive when you can bring a player who you've worked with before and they know the demands of your system and how you play as a team. Sometimes you can get very talented players, but if they don't want to do what you're demanding from them as a coach, it can really strain the relationship. Strikers who press from the front is obviously exactly that. Not every striker wants to press from the front or believes in pressing from the front. They just want to be delivered good service and finish chances. So when you find somebody who has the characteristics, already knows how you play, they know the demands, they know how to manage you as a person, they know how you communicate and things work efficiently, I think it just helps when you're trying to form a new group or you're trying to refresh the energy in an existing group to bring in leaders and characters who have proven to be successful. And obviously, Jennings now sits on 69 goals. He's proven his worth and his value in the team, in the league, let alone the team.
To showcase his value, last season with Tampa Bay, they won 9 of the 13 games in which he scored a goal. The other 4 were draws. They won 20 of the 26 games in his career with Tampa Bay in which he scored. That's an impactful player for Tampa Bay that they no longer have. Meanwhile, Charleston have taken advantage. It's still just a 1-goal game here. Less than a half hour to play. Tampa Bay, after averaging about 15 shots per game through the first 3, are stuck on 5.
I think when coaches also make signings, as much as they're always going to be judged on their on-field impact, I think it's also important to know how they can help to bring the group together and the impact that they can also have off the field. And obviously Ben Pierman knows that Cal Jennings is a guy he can rely on to bring the group together, to be cohesive and to be a leader.
Did you guys sort out when you just talk?
4 out, 14 in, 17 out.
Can Tampa Bay get back into this game? They tie it up Down by a goal. Leon Gabiri, Crisostomo, able to work it all the way through. Here comes Charleston breaking in transition. Jennings runs into a bit of resistance, and then Hosu twirls around. Arteaga looks for Bassett. Graham Smith clears. 2 changes coming up here for Tampa Bay. Nate Worth and Thomas Van Kazeel are coming in. Substitutions brought to you by Publix. Great sub deserves another. Order your favorite Publix sub for your next tailgate party at Publix.com. That duo replaces Lewis Hilton and Danny Crisostomo. Worth scored one of his 2 goals last season against this Charleston side. A game winner it proved to be.
Left here on Patriots Point. We need that energy up. I need to hear you. Let's make some noise out there. Keep it up, Patriots Point. I need to hear you.
Select is proud to be official match ball supplier of the USL Championship. From Academy to the big leagues, Select is there every step of the way. Visit us.select-sport.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Jennings. Much on that ball, and Jennings cannot rescue.
Nate Worth coming into the game, just 18 years old. Had a good season last year. Young, impactful player, showed good talent, good ability. Going to be interesting to see if he can come in these remaining 25 minutes of the game and change the fortunes for Tampa Bay Rowdies.
Hosu. To get there, Pasillas takes over. Hosu's well out of play. Pasillas hooks this ball around. Charleston, yet again, does enough defensively.
Pasillas sent Hosu across to LA Fitness there, I think.
Lawrence Way calls for the foul.
Muscled him off the ball, just unable to provide the quality delivery into the box.
Tampa Bay have used 4 changes, 1 forced early. Charleston have not made a change so far to its group. And they're coming up on a stretch where they're going to play a lot of games. Over the next 14 days, they're going to play 4 total, including one in the U.S. Open Cup. The Battery are back in action here at Patriots Point on Saturday, April 12th, as they take on the Pittsburgh Riverhounds at 7:30. Tickets for that match are on sale now via SeatGeek, the official ticket provider of the Battery. Get yours now. And I mentioned him earlier, MD Myers will make his season debut, replacing Cal Jennings, who scored the lone goal in this game in the first minute of first half stoppage time.
Jennings has put in a respectable shift tonight, but Charleston making a statement they're not done yet by bringing in Myers some fresh legs to freshen up the attack and potentially go for that second goal to seal the victory. I don't think they can afford to take their foot off the pedal yet.
Myers, the Golden Boot winner 2 years ago in MLS Next Pro, 14 goals in his first year with Charleston last year. A potent striker. Substitutions are brought to you by Publix. We love subs at Publix. A place to get your favorite pub subs and all your tailgating needs. Visit Publix.com. David Torres.
I do enjoy
ball around.
I do enjoy a chicken tenders sub from Publix.
Oh, 1,000%.
Occasionally.
You get it tossed in what kind of sauce, or do you just go straight up?
Olive oil? I don't know.
Okay.
One of those sauces, I don't know.
I like tossing in like barbecue or wing sauce. Here's this ball forward. Myers gets the angle. MD Myers on his first touch of the year. Misses wide left. It hugged the post and just does drift away.
First touch of the year, definitely one of his first touches of this game, and it just whiskers inches past the upright. Again, it's Torres here involved in the play. Kaza, great timed running here, behind the defense, does everything right, goes across the keeper, inches away from giving Charleston the 2-0 lead with his impact in the game very early on.
Myers and Jennings could be the next great tandem in the USL Championship when they're on the field at the same time. Torres sprints to the middle of the park. Hooks it to the left-hand side. Dos Santos measures. Dos Santos cuts it in. Dances. Ultimately runs into issues and commits the foul.
When Torres is on fire, he can be really hard to stop. You could argue that all of Charleston's best moments offensively, he has been involved in some point, whether it's the through pass for the penalty, whether it's finding midfielders in between the lines, whether it's having the shots himself. Torres always seems to be involved in a lot of the positive moments in the offensive half for Charleston Battery.
Ben Pierman highlighted the fact this game's at 5:30. The heat's going to be maybe a little bit more of an impact than later games, particularly late in matches. Wants to see his team with that intensity in the press as well as keeping the ball. And they look like they're the faster team at this point with less than 20 minutes to play.
Yeah, no, I think pressing teams also have to be mindful of the age of their players. I think the teams that are able to press efficiently often have a younger average age on their squads, just because that youth and enthusiasm, it allows them to continue to press and recover quickly without picking up injuries. I think as bodies start to get older, or the age of the roster starts to get a little bit older, injuries are more frequent.
This ball is in. It's MD Myers skimming it off of his head. His first touch went wide. His second touch of the year torches the threads. It's 2-0 Charleston.
Spoke about Andy Myers being a potent striker, and I think he's displayed that. In just 2 touches of the ball, he has one strike that whiskers past the post, and his second touch is in the back of the net. He puts the nail in the coffin for Tampa Bay Rowdies tonight. For me, 72 minutes in, game, set and match. They're now fully in control of this game. Andy Myers doing what he does best. He finds the space in between the two centre-back and glances it into the far corner, past Campisi in the net, who could do nothing but just watch it. Beautiful from Myers.
MD Myers, 24 years of age from New Jersey, scores his first of the season and expands the margin to 2-0. He's had 2 touches, one missed the net by inches. This one, Campisi has no chance on.
And what I love most about Myers is his celebration. Look at the intensity he's pressing with right now. I told you the goals change games and the mentality of the group, but I love it when I see strikers score a goal like it's their first goal, even though it's something they do every week. Every time they put the ball in the back of the net, it means so much to them. And I think it's such an important feeling to have. That's why it's always important for strikers to get the feeling of hitting the back of the net in practice, because that confidence it just builds and builds and builds. And then they get into the game, and these are the moments that they live for.
Here's this ball. Pasillas gets inside. Pasillas chips, and it rolls in. And just like that, a lifeline for the Rowdies. Less than 60 seconds after falling behind 2-0, they slice the margin in half.
2 goals in 2 minutes, and one of our keys to the game was finding Pasillas behind the line, and this is what he does exceptionally well for me. You see he likes to play on the last defender. Once that ball's in behind there, he's got the speed and the pace, and then that's composure and the finish for me. Zamudio's coming out rapidly, just sees it, dinks it over him into the far corner despite being under pressure from the defender also. There's still life in this game yet for Tampa Bay Rowdies. I said it was the nail in the coffin when Myers scored the second goal. It looks like there's a little bit of banging Coming back from the dead.
Not sure that we saw a goal happening within 60 seconds, but here we are. The response from Tampa Bay, and it's game on for the final quarter hour. After lulling this one through, Cal Jennings' penalty kick goal in the first minute of first half stoppage time made it 1-0, and we sat that way until the 73rd minute. MD Myers heads one in, and then in the 75th minute, Pasillas chips it in, and it's 2-1 in this no-quarter derby.
It's never over till it's over. Still 15 minutes to go, and that goal there from Pasillas has given Tampa Bay Rowdies a lifeline in this game. When they were a little bit flat and you thought that it was about to be game over, they've created one opportunity that could completely flip this game on its head.
And keep this in mind, July 27th of last year, Tampa Bay fell behind 2-0. They came back to win 4-2. It was the first time that they had won a match trailing by 2+ in 3 years. So they have history overcoming a multi-goal deficit against the Battery in recent memory.
I think what will be frustrating for Ben Perman is you just scored a goal and you concede 2 minutes later. At that moment, the team needed to be a little bit more focused, a little more cohesive, tight, compact, don't allow any goal scoring opportunities. They literally allowed Tampa Bay Rowdies to go and score directly off the score. And we spoke about scoring 4 goals, conceding 4 goals. Where did they need to tighten up? And I think those defensive lapses is exactly where they need to tighten up, because there's a real opportunity that Tampa Bay Rowdies could come back and tie this game 2-2 now with 15 minutes remaining, despite 20 minutes to go and you're 2-0 in the lead. So I think they still need to hammer down on that defensive focus and being a little bit strong defensively.
Ikaza rolls it back, cutting across the field. Wandavi Torres. Torres taps it over. Hosu chips it in, and it's an opportunity in front that once again is a sparkling finish. But the flag up for offside, taking this one away.
Talk about lethal strike. I think he knew he was offside in this one because he didn't even celebrate, because it's a great finish from it's a difficult ball into the box, to be fair, but he doesn't, on his first touch, he's buried it past Campisi again, but
I think it was Hosu that was off.
Unfortunately, that one got called back, but what an introduction Myers has had since he's come into the game. You ask for good attitude and positivity from players that don't start the game. Sometimes players on the bench, you're not happy because you want to start games. You're a competitor, you're an athlete. There's nothing that you ever smile about when you're not starting the game. But when you do get your opportunity to come in for 25 minutes, I don't think there's any better display of good attitude and impact than what Myers has put on so far in the 10 minutes that he's been on right now. I think when you don't start a game, that's the only thing that you can control. I think I was watching something from Alexis Sanchez, and he was talking about his career at Inter Milan, and he wasn't doing well, and he was only getting 15 minutes, and he changed his focus and said, in that 15 minutes that I get, I'm going to be the best that I can be, because if I'm not, it can only go one direction. If I get 15 minutes and I do well, maybe I get 20. If I do 20, then maybe I get 30. As players, that's the only thing that you can control, and sometimes you let your emotion get the better of you when you don't start games, but there's a positive way that you can react.
Yen concedes a corner. Usu providing that overlapping run. And it doesn't feel like we're done with the scoring quite yet in this matchup. 2-1 Charleston.
No, if Myers touches the ball.
Corner kick. Brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm. Wandavi Torres whips this ball across. This time Campisi catches. Not a lot of options for him, but finally unfurls one over to Bassett. That ball's taken away. Wandavi Torres chases. Guillen wins the race for a throw.
You can see the idea there from Campisi, but you just regain possession of the ball. It goes out, and within one touch, you're now losing possession and defending again, and you've not gotten out your defensive third. I think they have to be a little bit more strategic and patient in the choices when they're releasing the ball forward. If he's going to release that throw, he already has to see where the next pass is capable of going. Unfortunately, there was no next pass. They lost possession, and now they're on the back foot again defending.
Charleston looking to regain the 2-goal edge that they held for about 90 seconds. 80th minute. It's 2-1 in the rematch of the Eastern Conference semifinals. Charleston won that matchup by this exact scoreline. Ikaza doesn't chase that one down. Michael Watring, Chris Nurse, and our team with you here at Patriots Point, watching the conclusion of this one. Tampa Bay got a goal to make it 2-1 in the 75th minute. After MD Myers had gained the separation at 2-0, with 10 minutes to go, can the Rowdies claw back in this?
And I think their route back is it's exactly how they got the equalising goal. If they can play through the first, they can find the midfielders who can then find Passius making those runs in behind. I think that's their path to success. The long balls that we just saw being hit. He's not 6'9". He's not going to be able to hold those up or win those headers against this Charleston back line, the likes of Archer or Smith. But if you slide him down the sides when he's on the final line, this is where he's very effective and very dangerous.
Torres. Malloy. Malloy again. Swings it back out towards Torres. Torres swings this ball across, and Campisi, with 3 different battery players in front of him, catches it. Artiaga draws the foul on Graham Smith.
You can see Charleston aren't done yet. Ball's going into the box. They got 3 players going all out to try and get on the end of it. And then Tampa Bay Rowdies trying to hit them on the counter-attack.
John Klein's shift is done, and Arturo Rodriguez comes onto the pitch. Brought to you by Publix. Great sub deserves another. Order your favorite pub sub for your next tailgate party at Publix.com.
Substitution for the battery in the 82nd minute. Coming out, number 19, Johnny Klein. And coming in for the battery,
2-1 Charleston out in front. 2 teams that desperately want 3 points tonight after starting the year 1-2. Wyke lifts this along the sideline. Brought in. Options here. Rolls through the middle, however, and past 2 teammates. Myers uncorks one. Torres. Torres debates. Now shuffles it forward. Ikaza races. White gets there first.
Good creativity from Torres there. Just holds on to the ball a little bit longer so he can give Ikaza the time to make the run, but demanding high standards. Ben Perman impressed. He likes what he's seeing from his team right now. The most important thing is going to be, can they close this game out and not concede another goal? They're still on the front foot being very offensive, which I think is the right approach, but their transition to defense and how quick they get collective, compact and organized is probably going to be just as important, if not more important right now.
Charleston have scored multiple goals in 13 of its last 17 home matches. Leading this one by 1. Worth. It's taken out by Allen. Both coaches saying that both teams would be going for it in this one, knowing it'd be a good match, and it has lived up to that billing. As it turns. And again, across. Only finds that first defender. Dos Santos swings it back out. There's this pressure, and now a bobble by Castellanos. Malloy chases, and Campisi is off to the right side. Neon Kabiri wins the race. Neon Kabiri curls it in, and it takes a trickle, and a timely tackle nullifies that chance.
Neon Kabiri does well here. I think he gets the beating of Smith, but just as he's about to deliver the final cross, Smith does well to recover and intercept.
Ikaza tries to work it over his backside. Arteaga rotates it across, and it's taken away by Dos Santos. 5 minutes plus stoppage time remains in this matchup here tonight. Two of the best in the Eastern Conference the last few years. But it is Charleston looking to capture a 6th win in the last 7 meetings. Gabiri came on 7 minutes in for Nick Moon. Caziel. Castellanos. Guillen. Worth gets fouled.
Not long left here now for the Rowdies. They're going to need to try to get some good service for Arteaga. Passius.
Into the box, this one goes. Sent away, headed back. Malloy collides and now taken over. Arturo Rodriguez. Neon Gabiri commits the foul and gets booked.
Strong foul. How do you envision Tampa Bay Rowdies going for the equalizing goal, throwing bodies open, throwing bodies forward? That leaves them wide open on the counter-attack. Bit of a vicious, lunge there from Neon Gabiri, who, as we mentioned, has been a positive for Tampa Bay Rowdies after coming into this game in the 7th minute after an early injury to Moon.
Bassett hunts this ball down. Bassett sprints, numbers forward here, lays it off to the right side, and it's beyond Dos Santos, and what looked promising fizzles out.
Turns into a careless giveaway. But Tampa Bay Rowdies back in possession of the ball again right now. Another careless giveaway from both teams.
Juan David Torres grabs it. Hosu in the middle of the park. Hosu darts to his left. Hosu takes aim. Campisi catches. 90 seconds plus stoppage time remains.
Place your bets. How much stoppage time do you anticipate coming down the line?
5.
5?
Yeah, what do you got?
4. I'm going to go 4.
4. All right. It was 5 in the first half. I'm thinking a couple goals here, a couple subs will get us to 5. Guillen tracks it down. Guillen tosses it around. Clearance comes out. Bassett slices through 2. His pass, though, knocked away.
Solid defending there from Smith, but the ball falls back to Tampa.
Bassett has choices here. Van Caziel hooks it in. Bicycle kick was something there that was being thought of. Appeals for a handball. Unheard. Ikaza. Chris Allen, who had the assist on the MD Myers goal that sits as the game winner. Here's Arturo Rodriguez. Malloy and Ikaza. USC Health Sports Medicine sponsors our stoppage time. 3 minutes.
Both lose. That's why you shouldn't gamble.
Injury time sponsored by MUSC Health Sports Medicine. Don't let an injury hurt your game. Go to MUSCHealth.org/sports to find out how they can get you back in the game.
Still time for one more opportunity for Tampa Bay Rowdies, but they've got to get this ball forward with quality.
Joey Appanonu is coming into the match, and Juan David Torres is the man that is summoned off.
Of course, the substitution in this phase of the game is nothing more than an ability to count a couple seconds off the clock. To be fair, when you're a youngster, you don't mind these substitutions, because if you have appearance bonuses tied into your contract, you don't, well, you do care if it's 60 or 2 minutes, but you do get an incentive anytime you get onto the field. So sometimes when you see players and they kind of look enthused to get on for the last 60 seconds, it's because they know they have appearance bonuses inside of their contracts, which is a good incentive for young players. You know that you're still learning your trade. You're maybe not going to start every game, but the minutes that you get become a little bit more valuable to you when you know there's incentives are tied to them. So whether it's 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 12 minutes, you always want to try and get yourself on the field, because who doesn't love a little bonus for an appearance?
Johnson made appeals for handball as Nate Worth stumbled. Instead, it's given away in the end. Not a lot of time left for Tampa Bay to try to claw one out here. A team that, since joining the USL in 2017, have never started the year with 3 losses in the first 4. And that is what they are staring down at right now.
As we spoke about, yes, it was valuable getting the first 3 points of the season against Miami FC, but needed to be followed up with a strong performance today. I'm not convinced that this performance from Tampa Bay Rowdies was essentially very strong against Charleston, and it doesn't look like they're going to walk away with the 3 points.
Neon Kabiri darts around, throws it up top. Nate Worth. Kian chips it through. There's nobody over there in a green kit. And maybe one final chance for something to happen here.
30 seconds to go in the game. I'm convinced this ball has to go forward rather than sideways if they're going to get an equalizing goal. Surely at this phase of the game, you just want to get the ball in the box. You want to try and get the second balls. You want to try and create something. It doesn't need to be pretty. You need to get a shot on target. There's 10 seconds left in the game, and we're still passing sideways and backwards.
Now here's a cross coming in. Malloy guides it away, and it's a foul. MD Myers draws it. And that likely will be the end of the line. Cammy McPherson called for the foul, and that likely will be the end of this one.
It frustrates me when there's 20 seconds left in a game and you see a team just passing the ball across the back when they're losing the game. For me, that's when you have no option but to play a little bit more direct, get as close to the goal as you can, follow up for the second balls, try to just create something out of nothing. Time is not on your side to be patient in that moment. You've seen top teams in the world when you're coming into the last 20 seconds, centre backs diagonal balls into the box, trying to create something.
Myers gets tugged to the surface, and a free kick here. These two sides will collide again on May 10th, and once more on July 26th. And there's your full-time whistle. Charleston beat Tampa Bay for the 6th time in the last 7. And they get their 2nd win of the season, and the full complement of points against the Rowdies in this one. Tonight's Fix It 24/7 man of the match is also the birthday boy. MD Myers on his 25th birthday pockets the game winner in the 73rd minute.
As much as I'm happy for Myers, I'm not sure a player who comes in for 27 minutes should get the man of the match compared to the ones who've been on for 77, but he did have an extremely positive impact when he came to the game with a fresh bunch of energy and got himself on the score sheet, so well done, Myers.
Charleston win this matchup by a final score of 2-1, and we'll recap things when we return here to Patriots Point with Charleston winning it 2-1 over Tampa Bay.
What do you want?
You know, what's that really good non-alcoholic beer I keep hearing about?
Do you have that really great non-alcoholic beer that I keep seeing?
Do you have a non-alcoholic beer that actually
tastes good? It's athletic. You're holding it.
You mean athletic? You're looking at it.
I think you mean athletic.
It's athletic. Ask for it.
NRDNASC is a genomic screening research program. If we can identify a specific genetic factor that's involved, we can intensify the screening with an effort to prevent cancer and heart disease.
The NRDNA project is really a unique opportunity for individuals across the state to participate in genetic testing. That's another way to help provide data and research so we can learn more about the underlying causes of certain health conditions.
Final score tonight brought to you by the Pepper Law Firm, and it's Charleston taking out Tampa Bay Rowdies. Cal Jennings scores the opener against his former team, and now mingling with some of his former teammates. Michael and Chris back with you, tying a bow on our coverage here tonight. And Charleston haven't lost back-to-back regular season matches since 2023. They pick up a 5th win in 8 tries in that window following a loss, winning it tonight by a final margin of 2-1. MD Myers pocketing the game winner. For my partner tonight, Chris Nurse, and our entire crew, I'm Michael Wattrank signing off from Patriots Point. Thanks so much for watching. Good night, everybody.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the express written consent of the United Soccer League.
This is an excellent ball forward here.